learn that they ain't no help. They have no supernatural insight. They do not serve Yahweh. Daniel 5:7, the wise men of Babylon are called again. Note, Belshazzar had not learned Nebuchadnezzar's lesson. He called for the same group of wise men that had failed to interpret it in Nebuchadnezzar's dreams. Question 4, were the wise men able to interpret the writing?
No.
Daniel 5:8 says, no. Notice the progression in the discrediting of the wise men of Babylon. In Daniel 2, they couldn't reveal the king's dream, but Daniel could. In Daniel 4, they couldn't interpret the dream, but Daniel could. Now, to their total discredit, they couldn't even read the writing on the wall, but Daniel could. Daniel interprets the writing. Question 5, who suggested to the king that he call in Babylon?
The king's mother.
The king's mother. Nebuchadnezzar's, actually the queen of the empire there. And guess why she wasn't there? She wasn't at the party because she learned her lesson. Chances are she became converted like King Nebuchadnezzar himself. Note, for some reason, the queen mother was not in room with the writing appeared when the writing appeared. There's a reason for that. She didn't want to attend such a sun cult party. She was apparently related to Nebuchadnezzar, and probably was acquainted with the true God. Told you. Perhaps she was a converted person. Look out. That was my assumption, which would explain the reason why she was not present for the party. But as soon as she heard of the terror in the ballroom, she immediately made her presence known and suggested to Belshazzar that he call in Daniel, whom she knew would be able to interpret the writing. She knew this Daniel, didn't she? Question 6, what position did Belshazzar offer to Daniel if he read and interpreted the writing? Daniel 5:13 through 16.
He will be made the third highest ruler in the kingdom.
Go ahead.
Now, there were already 2 rulers in Babylon, Neoboas and Belshazzar. That is why Daniel was to be the third ruler.
Offered him to be third ruler. Here's Daniel's response. 7. Before interpreting the writing, Daniel tells Belshazzar of Nebuchadnezzar's insanity because he failed to recognize and honor the God of heaven. Did Belshazzar already know this?
Though you know all things.
He knew this. He knew good and well that he had defied the God of heaven with this pagan sun cult party. Daniel 5:17 through 22. Go ahead.
Belshazzar was acquainted with the true God, but in spite of this, he had failed to humble himself and follow in the footsteps of Nebuchadnezzar.
What had Belshazzar done that had invoked the wrath of God?
You have set yourself up against the Lord of heaven. You have the goblets or vessels from his temples brought to you, and drank wine from them.
You drank wine in them. Daniel 5:23. Those are consecrated for the worship of Yahweh in the temple. Note, it is this defiling, blasphemous act of taking the vessels that were consecrated to the worship of the true God and mixing them with pagan worship that brought the wrath of God upon Belshazzar. Go ahead.
Read the writings on the wall. Men, God has numbered the days of your reign and finished it. Tekel, you have been weighed on the scales and was found wanting. Peres, your kingdom is divided and given to the Medians and Persians. No, God was announcing the fall of Babylon. That very night, October the 12th of 538 BC, Babylon fell.
Babylon fell, just as the pen of Isaiah, and it didn't rise again, ancient Babylon. Question 10, how soon was the prophecy fulfilled? Who became the new ruler of Babylon? Daniel 5:30 through 31. Darius became the new king, and
Cyrus the Median.
Darius we got them backwards.
Hang on.
You got them backwards. I'll do it. Cyrus is the top dog, but while he's out on military escapades, you got Darius the Median.
Okay. Sorry.
Note, even while the feast, going on, the fall of Babylon had begun. The Babylonians knew that the army of Medes and Persians was on the outside, but they felt secure in their city. The walls were impregnable, they thought. There was plenty of food stored up for a long siege, and a constant source of water, the river Euphrates, ran right through the city. However, Cyrus, the commander of the Medes and Persians, performed an ingenious engineering feat. He had his soldiers divert the river Euphrates. Then he marched his army down the riverbed underneath the walls of the city through the inside gates, which had been left open by the drunken feast. Overconfident Babylons, thus mighty Babylon fell. Before Cyrus left to continue his conquest of the world, he set up Darius the Mede as king of the city-state of Babylon. You take care while I'm out on my military conquest. Notice that, what does Solomon say about using wine and strong drink? He that's deceived thereby is not wise. He done a double treason by drinking it out of the sacred vessels of the temple of Jerusalem. Whoa, that's a double whammy. Question 11. What similar conditions are described in the book of Revelation concerning the end times?
The river Euphrates was dried up to prepare the way for the kings from the east.
Literally, those kings was from the east. The Medes and the Persian Empire was from the east. The river Euphrates was diverted and therefore dried up. Revelation 16:12-16 designates an end-time situation, but it will be with modern spiritual battle, and there will be a few details different. We'll notice that the kings of the east will be those who come from heaven to save God's people. Go ahead.
The same conditions that exist at the fall of ancient Babylon will exist again at the end time. The drying up of the ancient river Euphrates prepared the way for Cyrus and his army, who came from the east, having conquered Babylon. Cyrus eventually allowed God's people to go back to Palestine from the captivity. Thus he is seen as the deliverer of God's people. In the book of Revelation, the river Euphrates is dried up. Symbolic spiritual Babylon supports is dried up to prepare the way for the kings of the east, the mighty deliverer of God's people.
Thank you. Even by the pen of Isaiah, hundreds of years in advance, at least 150, he named Cyrus as being the anointed of the Lord. So actually, Cyrus is the deliverer of God's people in that time because he allowed them and gave the decree for them to go back and rebuild their city and the temple. Well, the mighty deliverer of God's people will be Yahweh and his host at the end of this grace age. And we will study more about spiritual Babylon as these lessons progress. We will understand exactly what this so-called Battle of Armageddon is. It is not the Battle of Armageddon, it's the battle of the great day of God Almighty, as designated in Revelation chapter 16. Question 12. What happens when the kings of the east come to deliver God's people?
God would remember Babylon the Great.
God remembers Babylon the Great. They'll kill the phone.